as an inheritance. I can give you the heathen as your portion. Like when I prayed at 22, God, give me 1,000,000 souls. Never dreamed I would see in my lifetime 1,000,000. Now mobilizing for meetings up to 1,000,000 Muslims in a meeting. Said there's truly an acceleration upon us. But what about America? What intentional steps are we taking to not just pray about it, but mobilize? Sit back any longer and be afraid, but do our part, right? Literally, I preached not even 6 weeks ago in Olean, means oil, New York. And I drove by the stadium, Bradner Stadium, they call it. And I drove by, and I said, what's the history of that stadium? They said, well, the Yankees played here, and the Brooklyn Dodgers played here. In 1947, Jackie Robinson, the first African-American Major League Baseball. I'm a baseball guy. He said, but history was made in this stadium. This is where Jackie Robinson played. And I said, I want that stadium. And we just started talking. We just started dreaming, not knowing that 6 weeks later, we'd be signing the contract, Revival Harvest America, and calling the nation. Paid for. You can't make that stuff up. And we're in the midst of launching and prophesying Revival Harvest and connecting all the dots, and Billy Graham passes. And Charlie Shamp was right here in January. He said, when Billy Graham goes to be with heaven this year, he named it. He said, it'll happen this year. But it's the sign of the beginning of the harvest that's been promised. If you've ever believed or identified with anything that you heard that was spoken and prophesied for America's destiny, it would be now. And I'm Canadian. I got Madagascar, Africa this year. I got 2 stadium crusades in Mexico this year. I got our mission to Pakistan. We're going to see 1,000,000 Muslims. I said, God, I don't have time. But then I had the dream. And revival breakthrough, and the winds of change, and the angels that gather. I said, God, I'm not ready. He said, pick up the mantle again. And many others. Who wants to pick it up? Who wants to take it for their children's children? Who wants to believe God for the Carolinas? Who wants to believe for the fields and the arenas? I said, I'll start humble. Forget Panther Stadium. I'll take the Coliseum, Bojangles, 20,000. Start small. Start humble. In fact, I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to go to Rick. I'm going to go to Lou Engle, and I'm going to go, guys, if we can't get Panther Stadium, maybe that's a big vision, and I'm not believing big enough, but maybe we can at least start where Billy Graham started in the Bojangle Coliseum. 18,000 a night. I mean, let's believe God. That'll be a step up from what we're doing in New York. We can only fit 8,000. I said, I can hardly believe we're talking this way. It's been 10 years. Other than the nations. But the passing of the baton is here. Reinhard Bonnke said, farewell, Africa. Billy Graham went to his reward. And every other evangelist. We're ready for a new movement and the converging of streams together, the prayer, the worship, giving birth to the harvest, to the stadiums. And I'm ready to spend all my time, energy, money to go in and reach thousands with the gospel, at least mobilize that way. Not just dream about it anymore. Not just talk about it anymore. The angel of movements is here. The angel of awakening. I'm going to read this last word I have. And the reason I'm going to read it is because if I preach it, it'll be an hour. And I want to finish in minutes so we can move into heavenly activation and supernatural encounters for you. I want to pray for you. I want to pray for the nation. I needed to give this word in my place, in my church, in my inheritance. We've been rallying up and down the East Coast for weeks. I've got like 40 rallies just in the East Coast in 5 months. Like 40 meetings. My associates, people that are going to be vision casters, we're mobilizing all over Pittsburgh and Erie, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Robert Stearns, Rick Pino. I'm doing a big meeting, rallying New Jersey. I'm going up to Rhode Island, Connecticut. I'm going to all of upstate New York, Rochester, School of the Supernatural with Jeff Jansen. I mean, we are taking the East Coast. We're going to fill that stadium. And I want to believe, and it could happen sooner than you think, that there could be a shift and people mobilizing towards, could the next big call could be here. I know Lou Engle and his guys, they said, we're thinking Manhattan, New York right now. You're already mobilizing New York. Maybe we could use that and mobilize for Manhattan, the call, 2019. But then it all changed today because they said, Billy Graham passed. The mantle of Billy Graham, it means everything. It's the beginning of a new season of revival, harvest, and awakening. We need to strike, and we need to strike the ground. And who knows, within days, what could come together. I said, I'm in. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm in. Enjoyed the movement. I said, God, maybe you're going to use this as a catalyst, as a rallying point for the next step. We could take it from 8,000 to 18. You know, the Carolinas, as an evangelist for a Canadian, for me, this has been hard ground. I can go anywhere else, like New York. I can go anywhere else, get crowds, people, and hunger. And here I feel like the Gideon army, you know. Sometimes I think it's not even the Gideon army. I got like the day of Pentecost, 120. And yet I can go out and do stadiums, 1 million in Pakistan, you know, right here in the Carolinas where we're talking, hey, man, we should give birth to the next wave of harvest, you know, all the prophetic words here, Rick Joyner and Bob Jones and all the other voices. And I thought, Lord, of all the places that I've ever been, the Carolinas. Do you feel the holiness? There's something being birthed tonight. Man, it's been falling on me from heaven all day. I've been getting text messages from people all over the world. They're like, there's something happening. It's time. You're launching Revival Harvest. And, you know, today, did you know Billy Graham went to his reward today? It's the beginning of a lot of all these prophetic words. And I got this Kim Clement prophecy today, posted it. A word in 2013, 2006, 2010. Specific word, really detailed word. I said, God, we can't make this stuff up. You're doing it by supernatural dreams and visions and encounters with heaven. You know, we tried in our own strength, committees, ministerials, raise $1 million, plan for a year, try to go in and make something work, 100 people get saved. We've lost the evangelist. They go to Africa. We've lost the evangelist. And what represented the last era of the evangelist stadiums in America, Billy Graham, we've lost. And even the ones I know, their work is in Africa, their work is in the nations. But who's ready to say, God, here am I, send me, my children's children, birth something in America. I'll be in prayer, I'll be in worship, I'll be in money, because he's giving power to get wealth. I'm a businessman, I'm a businesswoman. I had a business guy come out of nowhere 72 hours ago. I didn't know who this guy was. He said, I'm going to give you $5,000 and help you pay the rest of the stadium. And he calls back. He said, yeah, I want to give 10 more. In fact, anybody that'll give $1, I'll match dollar for dollar. Anybody that gives. And then he calls back. He said, I don't want to be the only one that gives, so let me empower the rest of the body to believe in what you're doing and saying and get behind it with their money. I'm a business guy. I'm wealthy. I could give $50,000. But I'll match dollar for dollar. And within 72 hours, we raised, $20,000, double the impact. Come on, give the Lord a mighty shout. And the stadium was already paid for in a commitment of churches and ministries going, we'll give 500, we'll give 1,000, we'll give 250. And I was like, God, you paid the stadium, and now all this money to mobilize. This is America. We're not talking about Pakistan. I said, Lord, why is this financial thing coming hand in hand? He said, it's the 8818. It's the emerging mantle of miracles, signs, and wonders. People, the children whom the Lord God has given me, we are for signs and wonders. Isaiah 8:18, 2018. But the double portion, Deuteronomy 8:18, I'm giving power for those that are called to fund the harvest in America. If we don't believe in the vision for harvest in America and sow into the harvest in America, did you know America pioneered mass crusade evangelism? It was America. It was Reinhard Bonnke. It was ministries like T.L. Osborne. It was ministries that went into Africa and did crusades of 50,000, 100,000 in the open field. It was Benny Hinn that went into India and mobilized over 1 million people. We have been sowing as a nation, and we've been the leading nation to do mass evangelism around the world, but it's time to be mantled and anointed for the harvest in America. And we're in. We're all in. Are you in? Watching? Are you in? Go to revivalharvestamerica.org. You're in? Go to revivalharvestamerica.org. Connect, sign up, register, connect your church, connect your ministry, get information. If you haven't been to the website, write it down, revivalharvestamerica.org. You can volunteer. You can plug in. You can plug in your church, your school, your network. You can come. We're going to converge upon Olean, which means oil, in Western New York. It's strategic to New York City. It's strategic to New Jersey. It's strategic to Pennsylvania. It's strategic to upstate New York, even Canada, and we're calling the East Coast, and we're striking the ground 7 times. And then I get the call, California's ready, it's paid for. And then I get the call, do you think we're ready to do the Carolinas? I'm like, whoa. You can't go from one stadium to like all of a sudden 3. Do you hear what I'm saying? I said, God, that was Lakeland 10 years ago. You were moving so fast. We had 24 hours to get into the arena, 24 hours to get into the Tiger Stadium, 24 hours to get into the open field, 24 hours to get into the 10,000-seat tent. This is the 10th year anniversary this year. I met with Roy Fields. I met with Steven Strader. I can't tell you why yet. But there's something about outpouring, you know, the number 10, the restoration. I've never felt so alive with such a time as this. I've never felt so gripped by the Holy Ghost to prophesy and pray and then take intentional steps. Is there anybody in this room? You know, you could, listen, my team drove. It's only 10 hours to be a part of history. You couldn't get across the nation to Azusa now because it was just too far. And yet the world came. You could get in your car and get to the campground, get to the hotel, get to the city, 10 hours. I'm telling people now, it's February, we're mobilizing August, so people got time to plan. You connected the trucks, 18-wheelers, where we can get food. The more 18-wheelers, the better. We got food shelters, we got soup kitchen. We got a soup kitchen in the city, said we'll feed 1,000 people. We're committed. We're in. 1,000 people, we'll feed them in one day. Then I'm thinking, what if I could get groceries for 5,000 families? I could just bring in all the trucks and feed a city. Man, then they would come. Then we could preach the gospel to the lost. I'm not talking about another event. Well, who's speaking? Who's coming? I said, we're not building around who's coming and speaking. That would be another event. See, most of the church doesn't even know harvest. We're used to events and conferences, paying $79 at the door. If we don't make the shift, we're going to lose the millennial generation. Anybody hear the weightiness of what I'm saying? People go, I thought it was supernatural encounter night. Well, I talked about the angel, the winds of change, harvest, breakthrough, supernatural dreams, the angel of movements. That's called supernatural. The heavenly activation is going to be impartation. I'm praying you have a visitation of the Lord of the harvest. Who's going to join the movement? Who's going to be a voice? Who's going to be a voice? You know what my prayer is out of this one thing this summer? You know what my prayer is? That I launch 1,000 harvesters that get a vision for cities and stadiums. That God would give me 1,000 ones that would burn. And they would go into the nations and be the next generation of Billy Grahams and Reinhard Bonnke's. I got many in this room already. You know what? I got a couple in this room, Alex and Jordan. They were interns. They were in our school of ministry. Young couple in their early 20s. Impacted by T.L. Osborne and the whole idea of healing and crusades. And joined me in Malawi, Africa. We fed over 200,000 kids and reached tens of thousands with the gospel in Malawi. They came back, their ministries. You know Alex in the church. He transitioned tonight. Him and his wife, they burn with harvest. So they get a call to go to the Manila, Philippines. And they're mobilizing right now, raising money, raising funds. And the Lord said, it's one thing to get someone ready, you know, with prayer and impartation. He said, I want you to give. I said, I'm giving 500. I'm going to help you pay and fund your harvest in the Philippines. Listen, I'm telling you, we got to get behind the vision and go beyond the rah, 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 yeah. I said, God, if I could get 1,000 people watching on Facebook, I don't care if it takes me 5 months. I'm asking for 1,000 that would give $5. Pretty small, isn't it? What if I could mobilize 1,000 people to give $5 in 5 months? What would that be? $50,000. That's kind of what we need right now. And it'll be all paid in full. And then we could take one stadium event, the offering, pay the next stadium. I mean, I could be done my money within 4 months of even go time. I'm believing God that I'm going to be so paid in full that I will be months from the stadium launch, so mobilized and paid in full that I could be doing everything else I need to do and use one stadium to pay for the next. Could you believe with me? Do you believe with me? You're watching? Could you do 5? Could you be one of 1,000 that would give $5? That'd be 50,000. And some of you are going to do 20, 50, 100, 1,000. We got churches coming in doing 1,000. We got businessmen saying every dollar that you give, I'll match up to 10,000. I believe there's going to be businessmen, businesswomen. How much you need? They're going to write checks for $50,000. You're going to see it in America. Power to get wealth. How many of you know they're called to have power to get wealth? Seed to sow. I want you to tonight to believe in our mission here as a church, as a ministry. Single Place Church, Fresh Fire Ministries. Our mandate is missions, revival, and evangelism. We partner together. This is our church. This is our school. This is our revival hub. This is our media center. I do all my personal mentoring here. This is where I live. This is where I come back and get blessed and encouraged and strengthened, loved on. This is where we raise up harvesters. And so I want to ask you tonight, and even if you're watching, would you go to this website? Not you in the room, because I want you in the room to take the envelope. Everybody, quickly, take this Sacred Place Church envelope. And I want you to prepare a seed tonight, intentionally, believing in the vision. Don't just hear. Let's act. And whatever you can do to give. You might be able to do 50, 500, 1,000. I want you to give to what we're doing in the church. It's a Sacred Place Church offering. People do bring their tithes and offerings on Wednesday night. But when you partner and hook up together with what we're doing, you are a part of Revival Harvest. Amen. It doesn't matter where the dollars are coming. You are a part. Single Place Church is a part. Everything that I do is a part. Would you grab an envelope tonight and be intentional and believe God for your impartation and breakthrough and sow? So you can write your check to Single Place Church. You can give by debit. You can give by credit. I want you to. I pray that God would speak to you. I'll tell you, He's going to bless your church, your vision, your ministry. And He's going to get behind what you're called to do. If you can just agree together, even with a breakthrough seed, investing in souls in America. Help us mobilize a movement of harvest in America. Many will volunteer. Would you just be a part tonight? How about your church? How about your ministry? Would you be a part tonight and give? Just grab an envelope, fill it in, Single Place Church, give by debit, give by credit. And all of you watching tonight, you're on Single Place Church, give right there. You're watching on singleplacechurch.com, give right there. When you give to the Single Place Church, you're giving to Todd Bentley, you're giving to Fresh Fire, you're giving to the mission, Revival Harvest. I want you to give on the website. If you're on freshfireusa.com, Fresh Fire TV, you can give right there. Click that button. But all of you on Facebook, by the thousands, could you do $5? Could you do 10? Could you do anything? Would you commit? Would you sow? Even anonymously. How do you give online secure? RevivalHarvestAmerica.org. All of you watching on Facebook Live, go to the website, RevivalHarvestAmerica.org. Do it on your phone. Do it on your iPad, on your tablet. You could do it later. Literally, you could just be one of 1,000 to give $5. I'm praying many would give 500. I'm praying many would give 1,000. I'm praying that many churches and ministries would do their part and come on board because you got a vision for harvest in your city, in your region, in your nation. Sow into it. Be a part. RevivalHarvestAmerica.org. You can give on the website. You can partner. You can connect. You can volunteer. You can register. How many are excited about giving tonight with purpose? You're giving tonight with vision. You're giving tonight into the launch of something that's going to be harvest time in America. I mean, I believe our students can go without a cappuccino tonight and do $5. I think everybody's got a seed to work with. A few loaves and a few fishes, a jar of oil, a bit of flour. If I was ever asking our friends and partners to respond and give, it would be now. And I want you to give tonight in the Single Place Church. I want you to give into our vision. I want you to give into our apostolic base. I want you to give into where we get our strength from, where we eat and get fed. And we want to be able to have a place that's strong for us to go forth from. I want to go forth from this place with the word of the Lord. I believe God's going to honor us tonight with Deuteronomy 8:18. He's going to give us power. How many of you believe God will give them increase this year, that you'll be double in all your money, double in all your giving, double in all your seed? God took us last year over 1 million, first time. 10 years, over 1 million. We're believing this year for 1 million more just for Harvest America. Double. 1 million more just for Harvest America. So you can fill in the information, revivalharvestamerica.org. Give. Don't just hear, don't just rah. Give. So. People are like, the stadium's paid in full. Yeah, but the lights aren't, the sound's not. The big worship people we want to bring, Eddie James, and we're reaching out to Jesus Culture, Bethel Music. Who knows who will say yes? We're going to need money. Here we go. We want to feed 5,000. Great. We need trucks. It's a small vision. It's $100,000. That sounds massive, but we do that in Pakistan. There's cities we could go into in America, we're going to need 1 million. How many believe that when the angel of financial glory is released, money's not a problem? I really believe God's dropping on us right now. I mean, that we had one business guy go, here's 15 grand, and I'll write a check for 50, but I want to empower everyone else to give. Why should I be the only guy prospering with the Lord at 34 years old and be a multimillionaire, and God's blessing me because I give to the harvest? He goes, I want everyone else to believe in that word too. And I'm sowing for that. Guess what? I personally am believing God to bless my business so that I can see $1 million. And I'll be the first to give. So thank you for responding tonight and giving tonight, filling in your debit, your credit, putting your $5, putting your 50, putting your 100, putting your 1,000. If there was ever an offering to give to, it'd be tonight. And if there was ever time to give and you were watching and click the blue button, it would be tonight. If you ever give off Facebook and go over to revivalharvestamerica.org and give, it would be tonight. And then what if we had such overflow we could just pay for the Coliseum in Charlotte? I mean, why stop at Revival Harvest New York, right? Why not believe God that in 6 weeks, I've got so much commitment and resource and churches and business people going, we want to share in the vision, that we could begin to help the call. You know how much it would cost to do Panther Stadium? And I'm like, are you calling me because you want me to help or fundraise? Because you know I'm a connector. I want to do my part, but I really don't care in the end who gets the glory. How many of you are so committed to, do you feel like it's in 30 years if you followed Rick? How many of you have put your whole life into believing for those prophetic words, you know? Rick Joyner and Bob Jones and Paul Cain and all the words about revival when it would come and Billy Graham would pass. How many of you have really valued the supernatural dreams and visions and encounter realm that's put together so many great things? Here, my Lord, said to me, would you take a minute and just pray? I know we're going to take the offering, but pray. Not just over your seat. Just put your hand on your heart tonight. Just feel the weight. Feel the moment. Many will volunteer freely. Prayer. Many will volunteer freely. Healing team. Many will volunteer freely. Evangelism. Many will volunteer freely. Serve. Money. Businessmen. Many will volunteer freely. Prepare their city, their church, their region. Coalition and alliance of churches and ministries for the great net. For the great net. The mom and pop churches. Maybe you're one of them. I'm asking God for 100 mom and pop churches to officially sponsor and be in. Maybe your church or a pastor visiting in this room, you feel, well, I'm in the Carolinas, not New York. This is bigger than New York. New York is the womb. It's not the all end all. August 17th, 18th, 19th. It's just the catalyst. But we're going to preach the gospel and give altar calls, and we're going to build a wineskin and a prototype we can use for harvest crusades all over the nation. I feel as called to America now as I did Africa and Pakistan. Man, 6 months ago, I just wanted to do revivals in America, raise money, and go to the nations. Now I feel gripped by the call of God to do America, whether I want to or not, whether America wants me to or not. Going to upset a lot of religious spirits, a lot of political spirits, a lot of territorial spirits going to get mad. Oh, no, here comes that guy again. But I'm focused on one thing. I'm going to preach the gospel the way I preach it in Africa and Pakistan, and God's going to bring the kind of power that he brings in those nations, and I'm not going to despise the day of small beginnings. I don't care if it's 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000. At least I have a gospel of action. Some of us had never got out of the boat. We just dream and prophesy and believe, and we never got out of the boat. Who's getting out of the boat tonight? Who's getting out of the boat tonight of their money? Come on, it starts right there. You get out of the boat with your first seed for harvest, and God will give you seed to sow your next seed. I'm convinced that when you partner together with this kind of favor that's coming from heaven, you get your money in partnership with this kind of favor, I'm convinced that God is giving power to get wealth. It's not just signs, wonders, miracles. There needs to be funds. And God's giving it not just to us, not just to us, but for us to be able to mobilize. And He's giving it to you to get it through you to His kingdom purpose. I'm going to sow into Manila, Philippines. You can too. You can go to Alex and Jordan and go, you're going to the Philippines? I want to help that. It's not me, myself, and I trying to hoard some big offering for Fresh Fire or Secret Place Church. I want people to give to Alex and Jordan. I want them to give to the Revival Harvest in the Philippines because they're going to be in New York too. I've asked all my associates to be in New York. I love all my intercessors, all my students, all my interns, all my partners and friends, enemies that believe in the vision. You don't like Todd Bentley, but you love the vision. I even called Bill Johnson already. He said, I'm in. I don't know what that looks like, but he said, I'm in. I'll share. I was like, I'll take a Facebook share from Bill Johnson any day. Hallelujah. Bill did a little endorsement video for our writing seminar coming up in a few weeks. I mean, got a big writing seminar here. Bill Johnson came out, did an endorsement video for the Passionate Pen. Writers are coming in from around the world right here in March. You all better be here. You want to be here for Fialella coming. Let her give the word about the awakening herself. Let her give the mandate she's getting from heaven. Come and sit under a seer with, for the releasing the seers. And then we got our Passionate Pen coming. Hands on your chest, Lord. Anoint me for this day. This is what I prayed for. Thank you, Lord. I want to join the Harvest Prayer Movement. Do I have any intercessors? Do I have any 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 30? Do I have any that'll say, I want to join the movement like prayer? I'm in. Anyone watching, I'm in. You want to pray? Go to revivalharvestamerica.org. Under the Join the Movement tab on the website, you can join the prayer group. It's that easy. Just go to revivalharvestamerica.org on your phone. Scroll down, find the tab, Join the Movement, and there's a sign up for the prayer movement. You can click the link. Private Facebook group, Harvest Prayer Movement. You can request to be added. We're mobilizing our first 1,000 intercessors first. It'll be 10,000 praying, but I'll start with 1,000 harvesters. RevivalHarvestAmerica.org. Scroll down, click Join the Movement, join the Harvest Prayer Movement. I need 1,000 people praying. Why? This ain't going to happen without prayer. It's not going to happen without worship. I'm not going to pretend to be the intercessor. I'm not going to pretend to be the worship guy. I'm the harvest guy. But everybody has a place. I want a healing team. If I got to pray for 8,000, I'm going to need a pretty good team of people that want to pray for healing. People that want to cast out demons. People that want to take it to the streets. People that want to feed 1,000 people in the park. What if it got bigger and God gave me some trucks and I could get more food? Anybody connected to food ministries that could get trucks like 18-wheelers? Maybe I should call Jason Hooper. He feeds the city. Thousands of pounds of food. Because if we don't have food and we don't love them, we're not doing Bob Jones' word, right? Harvest and did you learn to love? Did you learn to love? I might even put that up in the crusade in honor of Bob Jones. Did you learn to love? We love you, come eat. When we feed people in Malawi, Africa, we have 100,000 saved. What happens if we feed people in America? If you're connected in any way and you can get food, trucks, sound, lights, generators, media, TV, paid for, print 30,000 miracle tickets, anything you want to do, free, help us. Everybody's got ideas. But I'm like, no, come to me with an idea where many are volunteering. I'll print your 30,000 tickets free. Thank you. I'll bring an 18-wheeler truck. Thank you. I'll get you free sound and a stage. Thank you. The less cost to me, the more harvest. That's right. Somebody sent me a message today. They're like, hey, man, give me the business and I'll print all your flyers and banners. I was like, how about you just do it? I'm really bold right now. I'm tired of being left with the bill. You want me to do all the vision and all the work and pay? I don't even charge for my meetings or my revivals or my conferences or my crusades. I said, well, how are we going to pay for the harvest? I said, man, it's time to mobilize. Anybody in the room know somebody that's in the room that's connected in a way that might be able to help us get the vision done? I'm going to start calling. I'm throwing out a huge net. Why? I'm a harvester. I'm not just harvesting money. I'm harvesting people, a movement, labor, everything that we're going to need in place. And then maybe we could take that same network and use it in the Carolinas. Take that same network and use it in Manhattan. Imagine New York City getting shaken with a stadium. That's going to happen. The call's going to do Manhattan. They're doing Cleveland. They're doing Indianapolis. They're going to do Manhattan. They're going to do Carolinas. We got to call it in. Who's calling in? Who's the East? Come on, we want it on the East. Whew, I don't even know that I had that much liberty, but we're visionators. I might get slapped later, and I'll be like, sorry, guys, I can't help but give vision and legs. Because when I'm not in vision. I'm in with dollars. So can we take that offering? We haven't taken it, have we? How many are ready to give? Thank you. Go to that website, revivalharvestamerica.org. Give $5. Give anything. We're believing God tonight. Can we just have the ushers come? Let's give the Lord a mighty shout as we receive the offering. I forgot we didn't take the offering. Just go ahead. Take the offering. Hallelujah. Believe for breakthrough. Start asking God to increase you this year in your business, in your finance. Don't have a job. Sow yourself into one. Sow yourself out of debt. Start with here's my commitment. Every time I get $50, $100 extra dollars, I'm sowing. In fact, by the end of the year, I want to look at all the thousands I gave. I want this to be the biggest year I give. Biggest year I give. I'm like PayPal 50, PayPal 100, PayPal 200, PayPal 50. I want to give every day to Revival Harvest America. Every time I get blessed, I want to sow something. Because God gives seed to the sower. You can't outgive God. I mean, you should set up a debit credit account just with seed in it. Take $300, put it in there, and start giving. And then watch God increase. Then start giving. Then watch God increase. And start getting to the point where you give every day and have money every day and give every day and have money every day. And you just can't outgive God. Why don't you set up a challenge with God? Anybody willing to join me on a challenge? You call that a fast. Fast from poverty. Fast from poverty. And I'm going to start with $5 a day is my I'm going to believe God. I can give $5 a day every day. It's only $150 a month. But what if God increased you by $1,500 a month? And then you're like, I'm going to give $300 a month. And you just become the biggest giver because God gives seed to the sower and you became the biggest sower. I'm going to lead the way. I'm fasting from poverty. Hallelujah. I'm fasting from broke. I'm fasting from the idea of being offended because people talk about money for the harvest in America. I'm fasting from apologizing that you might get offended that the offering went on a little bit longer than you like because we're trying to do something more than just pay bills. My bills are paid. I want more than bills. I mean, we got bills to pay. We got salary to pay. We got staff to pay. But I'm going above and beyond. If your vision doesn't go beyond bills, I'm trying to get some of you into the place where you break free and you just start becoming the biggest givers with the smallest seed. But you just intentionally, all the time, go 2018 is my year to get power to get well. 2018 is my year for signs, wonders, miracles, and harvest. But 2018 is my year for financial breakthrough and increase. Come on, Donald Trump even gave you a tax cut. I don't know how that works yet. My accountant's in the house, Mike Rogers. We're going to meet tomorrow. I'm like, hey, is this tax thing going to help Todd Bentley? But praise God. Our money is good because we put all our books and finances out to another accountant. He's not even on our staff. He oversees all our money, 7 accountants, however many you got, overlooking all our books every month. An outside organization. Why? We believe in financial integrity. All my personal finances, all my book finances, any money that I get, Mike Rogers. And yet he's a pastor, Church of His Presence in New Bern, North Carolina, where I'm preaching in April, mobilizing for the stadium. Come on, give the Lord a mighty shout. This guy's a seer. Mike Rogers is a seer, son of Bob Jones, sees, has learned all kinds of stuff about the encounters with God. He's not just an accountant. He's like, I'm going to stop being an accountant and just do revival because that's my passion. But Mike got a word from God 10 years ago. When I was in Lakeland, Florida, he said there's going to be a day Todd Bentley's going to come back, he's going to be healed, he's going to be restored, and you're going to need to be there for his money to help him get it right so he can build and be trusted with millions. Because I want to be trusted with those that could write checks for $50,000. See, if business people don't feel like they could give you $1 million, they won't. If business people don't feel like they could give you $50,000, they won't. Lord, bring power over your people for this season of harvest. Bring financial glory over your people for this season of harvest. I don't care what event you might have to support the stadium in the Carolina. It may not even be our ministry. Do you get what I'm saying? Whatever you're connected to, whatever you're going to hook up with, whoever you're going to hook up with. You want to hook up with Alex and Jordan and sow into the Philippines, launch a young couple into their crusade ministry? I'm in. My money's in. I said, I'm going to do a Facebook Live and help you raise money. Why? Because who could preach the harvest and raising up 1,000 harvesters and then not begin with your seed? I can't do that to one of my sons and daughters. I can't do that to one of my associates. I mean, I got to do something. They're taking a step of faith, doing their first crusade in the Philippines. I said, they're one of 1,000 of these harvesters. That's what we do, Secret Place Church. That's what we do, Fresh Fire. That's what we do with our school. That's what can we have all our students and interns that you've been in our school? Stand up. Who in the room has been through our school, internship, alumni, in the school right now? Right now, can we look at this? See, we're training. This is who we're training right here. Harvesters, interns, revivalists, preachers, and many more watching. Come on, give the Lord a mighty shout. We're going to get 1,000 harvesters. You can be seated. And I don't care if you're 20, 40, 60, or 80. Listen to this. I'm doing a personal mentoring. Let me do this for 1 second. It's going to be the only resource plug. And I think it's more than a plug because this is helping people. I felt the Lord told me this year to kind of mentor people, like up close and personal. And I said, Lord, what does that mean? I got a school, I got an internship, I'm preaching, revivals, conferences. He said, no, I want you to begin to pour your life into a group of people that are hungry, that can't get to your school, your internship, or all the stuff you're doing, even from around the world, people watching. And he said, I want you to mentor them in what you've learned in 20 years about the prophetic, about the secret place, about healing and miracles, everything that you've learned. I want you to pour it into them with impartation activation. And the Lord called me this year. He said, I want you to do, personal mentoring. And we started with the Secret Place. We're in it right now, the Secret Place experience. Almost 300 students. And I got one of my young guys here, Daniel McCormick. He's been for 2 years doing classes online, like prophetic classes, and getting people signing up from around the world to do some of his prophetic stuff. He said, hey, I'm doing a prophetic class. You want to do a class? I went and did a class with him. We had 200 people in the advanced prophetic. And then now I'm doing a personal mentoring in the supernatural. I've got 600 students already in 6 weeks. I was like, God, we're going to have 1,000 students not even 3 months in. It's just exploding. Why? People are hungry, and there's a demand to be mentored. And so I've launched these 30-day mentorships where I commit to 30 days in a private group on Facebook usually. And I literally go in every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and interact and respond to every question. I get a notification on my phone. I actually answer the questions personally, not a staff. And I spend 30 days in a private group pouring into people. We're doing the Secret Place right now, the Secret Place book. And I do live webinars, like 2 hours of training, live, not email you a video and an e-course, recorded. No, it's live. And you can have access to the videos indefinitely, so you own the resource. I post my personal study notes. I post articles every week. I post a video every day, 1 to 2 minutes a day. That's 30 videos. I do 2-hour webinars every week, usually on a Tuesday. Film them right here in the Secret Place. And the next one that I'm going to do starts March 6th, and it's up on the screen. It's personal mentoring in the supernatural. So after we're done the Secret Place, that's the foundation. Once you get the Secret Place, then you're ready for angels, visions, dreams, trances, lights, colors, sounds, third heaven encounters, all of my best teaching on supernatural stuff. I'm launching personal mentoring in the supernatural. And there may be people in this room that want to do it, and there may be a lot of people watching that want to do it. So how do you sign up? How do you get a spot? Maybe you even heard how good the Secret Place experience was. You just go to toddbentleymentoring.com. It's on the TV. Write it down. Write it down in the meeting. Go to the website later, toddbentleymentoring.com. I'll be using my book, The Reality of the Supernatural World, which is 2 books, like my entire school of the supernatural. Everything I've learned about the supernatural, like prophetic encounters, heavenly encounters, throne room encounters, 7 spirits of God. I'm going to be teaching that to 300 students around the world if you have access on a smartphone, iPad, smart TV, any device where you can get on Facebook. And if you can't do Facebook, our partners get all this free. Do you have any partners in the house? Fresh Fire partners? If you're a Fresh Fire partner starting March 1st, this mentorship, and everyone I do all year is a free benefit to you for being a partner. Why are you a partner? Souls. Harvest. America. Pakistan. You believe in the vision, okay? Don't need much convincing. You can give $1 a day, $30 a month. You're a covenant partner. Guess what you get free? All the mentoring. And when you get the mentoring, you also get the archive to all the past stuff. So you missed a Secret Place experience? Guess what, partners? Yours free. You do the mentoring? Free. Anything that I do that's mentoring? Free. If you're a monthly partner. Another good reason to become a partner, right? How do you become a partner? ffmpartner.com. You're watching, ffmpartner.com. You get this mentorship free. You get the Secret Place archives free. And every other mentoring that I do, as long as you're a partner. At minimum of $1 a month. But maybe you want to do 50. I'm telling you people, the Lord told me to give back to my family, to give back to our partners, not just an MP3 and a newsletter. He said, you need to mentor the families and the people that believe you. And so if you love what we're doing in Vision anyways, be a partner. $1 a month. We send out the email, your login, your password. It's coming from our partner department, how you're going to be able to do the mentoring. But if you're not a partner, you can just pay $50. Do the mentoring. Go to the website, toddbentleymentoring.com. Sign up. People are signing up fast. I'm doing one with Daniel McCormick in a couple weeks. We're doing a personal mentoring in the area of what? Healing and creative miracles. It's his classes. I'm going to do 2 nights. I'm going to teach on healing, the function, talk about the how-to of creative miracles. So Daniel McCormick is in the house. He's on Facebook. He's getting ready to help us put together a 3-day, back-to-back personal mentorship in the area of healing and creative miracles. I'll be doing most of the teaching and ministry. I can't wait to join with Daniel. He's got it going already, so you got to go through him. Partners, that's not free. That's his. And I'm a guest. But they're great classes. And so we're going to be doing more and more of these kind of things. How many of you believe that we're called to not make converts but disciples? This is another way I feel like I'm supposed to take it to the next level and then make it available to our partners free. 1,000 partners, they get it free. And anybody else around the world can just sign up on toddbentleymentoring.com. We're registering now. So that's my shameless plug for tonight. And I'm not going to have a book table open, so. Can we just put our hands on our heart for a moment? I feel these waves of like the holy hush, you know? That's what I'm going to be here all March, by the way. I'll be preaching a lot in March. In our school, in our church, Wednesday nights. The Seer Conference. I'm going to be here a lot in March. The writing seminar. Robert Slierdon's coming and other authors are coming. You got a book in you. You want to get it out there. Nobody wants to write a book to get 1,000 in their garage. So you want to be here for the Passionate Pen. It's going to happen here March 29th. One of the best endorsed by Bill Johnson writing seminars you could ever get to. It's going to happen right here in March. And I'm going to be home for a whole month bringing in a baby girl, Jocelyn Rain Bentley. My wife, where's my wife? My wife's like 8.5 months pregnant, can barely move. She said last night, baby Jocelyn and the ramen noodles I ate are competing for space in my stomach. Any pregnant women know what I mean? She's at that point in her pregnancy, due March 9th. She's like, any day now, I'm going to be home for a month, pouring into my culture right here, pouring into my school right here, mobilizing for Revival Harvest America out there. So my wife sends her blessing, but she said, man, there's no room in here. Just, you know, I'm ready to go into labor and get this thing out. I believe it's a prophetic sign, too. We're giving birth. The children the Lord God has given me. Isaiah 8:18. We are for signs and wonders. My daughters will be mantled. My son, 5 kids, Grace, will be mantled to be a part of the next movement. You got children. You got grandchildren. Can anybody pray for them right now? Just everybody watching, come on, pray for somebody to, get the movement, get the anointing. Let the angel of awakening be released with them, with your sons, with your daughters. Mark them with Isaiah 8:18. Can anybody pray? Just go ahead and take a moment. Just pull down from heaven the mantle and the inheritance and the legacy of revival for your children's children. Let it go beyond your touch right now and say, God, give me generations. Give me generations of those that will be a part of the great harvest at the end of the age. This billion soul harvest. I've sown into it. I've prayed into it. I've served it. I will. But give me my children's children. Let revival be in my family. Let revival be in my house. Pray like you want revival in your family. Come on. If you can't give me 2 minutes of fervent, righteous, groaning, travailing prayer for revival in your house. Lock in. Come on. You're watching me. Lock in. Pray 2 minutes. Pray the fire of God down. You want to see the Lord of the harvest send laborers into the field? Pray, pray, pray. Pray the Lord of the harvest would send. That's how you get the laborers in the field. Pray. I'm like, God, I hope you're not setting me up for like some 40-day fast or something, because I actually said I would never fast because I believe in feasting. But I actually so want this movement of stadiums, I would be willing to fast for it. That's how bad I want it. I want it so bad that I'd be willing to give up what I love to believe God for a move. And I told the Lord, I said, if I'm only in it for a year, I don't care. Maybe it'll go on for decades. But if I just have one moment, just don't pass me by, right? Has anybody ever just, God, don't pass me by. Just if I could be alive to see it, that would be enough for me. Do not let me die, God, until I see the millions saved in America. I don't know how, when, or where. Imagine when God anointed Billy Graham at 48. Young preacher went to Los Angeles, took a stadium, and it erupted into revival for 8 weeks. Nobody knew Billy Graham then, 48. 215 million people in live audiences. 1 billion people reached with the gospel. Can't even get your head around that. Reinhard Bonnke, 78 million saved. The end of an era. Did his farewell crusade. Wake up, church. The harvest is on us. And we need to be in. Ask God how. Go and launch something. Don't get jealous. Go and launch something. I know friends mobilizing. They call it the Compassion Act in Portland on the West Coast. They're doing the same thing on the West Coast. Compassion Act, Portland, in the convention center in Portland. Guys out of Redding, California, Chris Overstreet. I've known that man 20 years. He's an evangelist on the streets. Redding, Chris Overstreet. He's doing a stadium in Portland. Why? People are hearing it everywhere. Ben Fitzgerald, Awakening in Europe, in Australia. Why? People are talking about it everywhere. Todd White. Why? People are talking about it everywhere. Why? Because it's on us. God, America needs this mantle. We need power. We need mass evangelism. We need revivalists. We need 1,000 Billy Graham types. Can my son and daughter have it? Would you contend for a minute that your kids would walk in this mantle, that they could be the next voice? God, raise up generals again that would be 1,000 times more than what Oral Roberts, 1,000 times more than Kim Clement, 1,000 times more than Bob Jones, 1,000 times more than Billy Graham, 1,000 times more than any one of God's generals that we love and admire. We honor the legacy of Catherine Coleman. We honor the legacy of John G. Lake. We got all our heroes in the First Great Awakening, in the Second Great Awakening, in the Azusa Street Revival. You can go back to your favorite move. You can go back to your favorite tribe. You can go back to your favorite, but I'm telling you right now, there's an opportunity for us to agree with the celebration in heaven because a great general has gone to be home. And I'm telling you right now, who's going to be a part of the next wave? Are you going to sit back? Are you going to let up? Or are you going to say, I won't shut up. I'm going to push and I'm going to pray till something happens. I'm going to be a sound. I'm not content to sit back in the rafters. It's time to say, go, church, go. Go, church, go. Go, church, go. Can you hear the sound of revival? It's upon us, people. It is the season, and some people are going after it. How about you? If not you, come on, I'm telling you right now, can you pray it down on your children's children? Can you activate heaven on your children's children that they will carry the mantle? People watching me will say, that's a lot of screaming and hype and a lot of prophetic blah, 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 but I booked the stadium. I'm not talking blah, 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 blah. We're doing. The day of doing and action is upon us. Do not say the harvest is 4 months from now. Lift up your eyes and look and see that it's harvest time, America. And I didn't want this mantle. You know what? The guys in Pakistan called me every day since they've been here last week. He said, Mr. Bentley, in March, we're going to put you on TV to millions in Pakistan. You're going to preach the gospel on our television to all of Pakistan in March. Mr. Bentley, can you come to Pakistan now? We'll have 1 million people in the field. 1.4 million. Come now. And I said, I'm going, but I feel this passion right now. And I don't want it because America's hard. God could use 1,000 others, but most have been talking about it for 20 years, and I don't see any raw move of God where any thousands are being saved right now. Not since Pensacola, Florida. That ought to bother you. That doesn't mean there's not great churches. Listen, we got Steve Furtick, we got Evolution. They get people saved all the time. Okay, I get kingdom lifestyle. I get the idea that there's people that do stuff and people do meetings, okay? But I'm not talking about meetings and events. I'm not talking about all the hard work with just kind of, I want to see the move of God that comes from heaven with angels, with dreams, with vision, with money, where all these unfulfilled words about a billion soul heart, I want to see that stuff with the encounter realm, with the supernatural realm, no compromising. Toning it down because you're trying to build church unity in the city. How's that working for us? The day of thinking you got to get everyone on your vision is done. You go to the 500-mile radius and you'll find 100 mom and pop churches that are in. I used to think I had to wait till I had at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 churches in the city before I could get anything done for God. I'm waiting 20 years later when I can go into Pakistan and just get it done. Because they don't just talk about it. But it costs me $1 million sometimes. It costs me $100,000 most times. We talk about Harvest America, but we don't want to give. Do I have a people in here right now that you have a son and a daughter that could be the next generation of... I've never wanted it so bad. And I've been on this message 20 years. And I got a little resume. God did something in Florida. God did stadiums. It's not like we're talking about something we haven't seen. But I want to see it again. I want to see it in the move that'll never end. I want to see it in the fullness where there's 1,000 harvesters in the field, all in America. 1,000 people going after stadiums in America. You can't even fit yourself into cities because somebody's organizing something. We saw that in the 40s, people. They called it the tent revival. You could hardly go into a city in America where Jack Coe or A.A. Allen or William Branham or, one of the revivalists were packing out 10,000, 50,000 seat tents all over America. You could hardly go anywhere. There was just so many guys doing revival healing. Could you imagine 135 evangelists at the same time in cities in America packing out 10,000 seat to 50,000 seat tents in any given night in America? Somebody was having a tent revival. Imagine it got to the place in America, not just prayer and conferences. Like, you can hardly go to a city in America where there's not a conference. You can hardly go to a city in America where we don't gather all the apostles and prophets, and we need to. Especially here in the Carolinas. I think we're a little burned out of events and conferences. You got Mahesh and Bonnie Shabda, you got Morning Star, you got Todd Bentley, you got Moravian Fall. I mean, we got so much here, we're kind of spoiled. It's hard in the Carolinas because we're not hungry because we got everything every day. We're like the Disneyland of Christianity. I'm telling you, we might be in need of the move of God here more. I go to these little cities in Baltimore that are so hungry, I'm standing room only on a Sunday night and they're begging me don't leave. Begging me don't leave. And here I got to beg people to come. And we stay faithful. And there's always a remnant, and you're here and you're watching. But I'm telling you right now, we got to say, this is the year that we break through and pray all of heaven down. And don't just be content to sit back and listen to God doing it somewhere else. This is the day for us to believe for us. I'm energized. I'm revitalized. I'm revived. I can hardly even preach a message anymore. Like a sermon. Because I'm just so wrecked. And every time I turn around, I get a confirming vision, confirming word, confirming dream. I'm like, Lord, this is awesome. And then everybody I go to, they're like, yup, amen. I get no pushback. I mean, I went to Washington. I thought, what if I bump into the president? I was so convinced I was going to get in the White House and just bump into Donald Trump. Like that kind of favor. And then 2 days later, I get an invitation to the Capitol from one of our Fresh Fire associates, David Shepard. And he goes, we're organizing a team on a private tour. We're going to Washington. You want to come? 2 days later, I get back. I'm like, I could go. We could go. We could go on a private tour. I was like, wow, man. I mean, we're not far from getting right into the White House. Todd Bentley in the White House with Donald Trump. Imagine that one. And listen, I was so ready to go into the White House on a tour and then like see him in the hallway. Mr. Trump, I would have risked security over it. Picture, selfie, Yeah, I would have done it. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? I'm so bold and tenacious, I'll just ask for things. Like, I mean, when you're in this kind of season where you're so convinced it's a move of God, you'll be like, hey, give me $60,000. You'll just go and do stuff you never, hey, I want you to, I'm like, hey, I go to Rick, I go to Bill, I go to Lou Engle. I'm like, I'm not backing down afraid of the apostles. I'm just going to go and ask them whether they're in or not. And I'm going to draw a line, and I'm just going to go for stuff. People are going to be like, yeah or no or hey or whatever. Get over yourself. But you get bold when you have vision, people. When you know God is speaking to you, you'll ask and do anything. You'll be like Joseph. You'll go all the way to Pharaoh, his court, and you'll be like, hey, those storehouses, open them up and let's feed Israel. You'll be like Daniel, and you go to Nebuchadnezzar, and you'll be like, hey, let me use my favor. You'll be like Moses. Hey, God, if you don't go with us, I'm not going. So if I have favor in your sight, save the people. You'll get real bold. Hey, Abraham, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, but hey, if there's 50 righteous left, how about saving the city for me, God? Okay, you're my friend. You see, you get bold when you know that heaven is with you. How many of you know heaven is with them? Don't let the fear, come on, get out of the boat. Plant that thing. Plant that healing thing. Start that group. Whatever it is that you need to do, maybe this year you get on a mission trip. Maybe you go to Mexico with us. Maybe you go to Madagascar with us. Maybe you plan your mission now to get to New York. But do something bold and different about your life. Because when I come here, listen, I'm apostolic when I come here, Pastor D. Pastor Darren, listen, I come in, I give all the apostolic vision because you know what? We need to get a little stirred up about the fact that God has even ordained this mantle. The whole world's talking about Billy Graham, and God brought it to our city. God brought it to Charlotte. And I'm like, the call and Azusa and Lou Engle is thinking, should we shift everything and maybe bring Azusa? Should we go after the stadium in Charlotte? Should we mobilize now? The mantle of Billy Graham's falling. I'm like, oh yeah, don't pass us by. I went right to Rick, and I was like, Rick, look what Lou's guy sent me. What do you think? Are we in or not? He's like, now's the time. 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 Come on, put your hand on your heart. This is the impartation, people. Just have an encounter with heaven and watch what will happen. Because every encounter you have with heaven becomes a manifest reality. You think you're just having a dream or a vision or some angelic thing? I'm telling you, you're receiving an assignment with that. You're receiving the anointing to go with it, hand in hand. God's not just giving you the confirming dreams, visions, and words just so you can, he's giving you the assignment and the anointing to go with it. I want you to pray for the kind of encounter with God right now in the supernatural that's going to mission you and mantle you for the next season. People go, where did you get this mandate from? Well, I had a dream, and 3 angels came to me. That's it? Yep, that's what happens when angels come. You launch movements. Okay? Look at Bob Jones. How many millions? Never wrote a book, never had a TV show. Walked around in his eagle sweaters. Influenced more movements, more millions. And the guy was just not even in the box. But you know what? You believe his encounters because he has history. Signs and wonders. How many are ready to give birth to a word that's more than just a word for the sake of giving a word, but you're ready for heaven to back you up with signs? God, I pray you would give us the confirming signs. You know, people paying for stadiums are signs. Business people going, let me give 50,000. That's a sign. When favor begins to come, that's a sign. Sounds like God. I hope I'm stirring somebody watching, thousands watching. You go to that website, revivalharvestamerica.org. Sign up, volunteer, connect, serve, pray, give, do something. Just stand for a moment. Don't hurry. Lord, take us right into that place we call the throne of grace. We got access by the blood, right? Go beyond the veil. I want to stand before the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. I want to stand before the Lord of the harvest. And I want my family anointed for harvest. I want my children's children anointed for harvest. Don't pass me by. Don't pass by the East Coast. Listen, don't let there be a West Coast rumble and not have an East Coast roar. And why just Revival Harvest America, New York? Why not Florida? They had the shootings in Florida. I'm praying about Florida being a Revival Harvest, a stadium event in Florida. Chicago, South Side. More violent murders and death in Chicago. If I could get a team, I'm thinking Chicago. California's already coming together in a seed form. I'll do California. I'll do the 3,000 seed. I'll do the 5,000 seed. I don't have to go for the 10,000, 100,000. I'll take whatever God gives me, but I'm going to be intentional, and I'm going to preach the gospel. Not have another event or another conference. We're going to preach the gospel the way we would in Pakistan and Africa, and we're going to believe for the signs and wonders and the dead raised in America, just like we see around the world. It's a timing thing. The seed, the legacy, the mantle, the portion, the inheritance of revival. Some people are like, I don't even know what revival is, but I'm in. I'm in. I'll heal the sick. I'm in. I'll pray. I'll give. I'll be a multi-million-dollar businessman to pay stadiums. If God will make me a millionaire, I'm in. I really think we're in a moment right now where if you made a partnership with God to have money, he would give it to you if you would use it for harvest. He'll increase you and you'll have all the money you need, and he'll make sure you have double so you have all the money the stadium needs. I think there are people even watching that can make agreements with God and he'll bring increase. I'm convinced we need to get heaven into our business. Get our business into heaven. I mean, people go, I want to be a millionaire. Now a million didn't even get the job done. God, I need to be 10 million. Why start a business if you're not going to believe for power to get wealth? Most people talk about the transfer of wealth and don't have any wealth because they never really use it for kingdom. And your wealth doesn't get any bigger because God knows you won't use it for kingdom. But the minute that you do, he bumps everything you do up and it goes next level. I've seen it in my ministry. I've went from 1 million, at one point 13 million. Why? God had to bump me up to match the revival. Remember in Lakeland, I was in Florida? I was a $1.5 million ministry, and then I needed $1 million every Friday. God literally bumped me up from 1 million to 13 million in one move to fund the stadiums. So, I mean, I've been in this thing already. I've seen it. Some of you are really called to be anointed with power to get wealth, and some of you are really be anointed to say, these are my children, and they are for signs and wonders. So God's talking about two things here. Harvest power. the signs and wonders for harvest, but he's talking about the funds. So I want you to pray right now, because I feel like there's millionaires in the room to be launched and commissioned. I feel like there's multi-million-dollar business people watching me to be commissioned. I feel like there's churches that are mom and pop churches struggling to do their kingdom vision, but God's going to open the floodgates and bring so much wealth and money because it goes hand in hand with harvest. I prophesied that in Buffalo, upstate New York, and the next day the stadium was paid for. The next day on a Tuesday night with 20 people in the room. That's it. 20 people in the room committed to stadium. 20 people. That's become a $100,000 vision. God, I pray you would release things upon this meeting, these mantles of harvest and power, but release upon those here praying power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 18. Don't take what I didn't say and don't think I'm saying that us or you or anybody's going to be able to replace a great man like Billy Graham or any other general. They're just types. They represent what God did. Somebody went to Billy Graham and said, thank you for all you did. And he said, I didn't do anything. I'm as humbled as anybody at what the Lord did. I didn't do anything. I'm humbled that the Lord did anything and everything. God, give us 1,000 more that believe for the fields and the arenas and the stadiums. Give us 1,000 more like Lou Engle that would pray until they birth the movement. 20 years. We'll go to heaven as one of the greatest intercessors that launched movements and gathered hundreds of thousands in stadiums. The guy that just prayed and rocked and fasted. He's going to be a modern day Reese Howells and get to heaven. And you know how he started? An anonymous woman said, here's $1 million, start a movement. That movement became 500,000 on the steps of Washington, D.C. Not by an apostle or an evangelist, an intercessor. God takes the most unlikely. Listen, partners me with the biggest general in all of Pakistan. See, we go in with one seed, 292,000 saved, 3 people raised from the dead. We go in again, 364,000 saved, 754 saved. And now we're connected to the biggest television and the biggest apostle to do crusades of up to 1.4 million in Pakistan. God gave me a nation. You were a part of it. Many of you gave and prayed, and within 2 years, you're watching opportunities unfold in a Muslim nation of all. Why not America? If I can do it in the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, why not in America? God, give me the nations. Guess what I never prayed for? I said, God, give me the nations, and America was never, I never said, give me America. So for me, the nations were like Guatemala. But would somebody pray with me tonight? I saw the angel dressed in red, white, and blue. His name was Awakening. And when I saw this angel of Awakening, he was dressed in red, white, and blue. But he was patriotic. And I said, what is that? He said, it's not just the nations like Africa and Pakistan and India and around the world. They need the gospel. But he goes, America needs the gospel. They're desperate. Will anybody pray with me and say, God, give me America tonight. Give me the money, give me the grace, give me the favor, give me a movement, give me America. I'll take America. I was called to America. They've been ascending nation. They pioneered the mass crusades. Now we need them. Now we need them. And you took our best evangelist in Billy Graham. God, we need the next emerging generation that'll be able to take cities and nations for God and preach the gospel. We're ready. We're praying it down. We're praying it down on our children's children, because we're in a divine time and moment of transition and the passing of the baton, and it's double portion. And I got a yes and an amen all the way to Australia. I got a prophet in Australia. We're doing a broadcast on Facebook named Nate Johnson. People are like, oh, we see him on Facebook. Last night I did a broadcast with a guy named David Harris Jr. out of Redding, California. I'm on his Facebook at midnight, doing a miracle meeting. I'm doing a Facebook Live with Doug Edison, Facebook Live with Rick Joyner. Get Rick Joyner on a Facebook Live with me. We're going to share the broadcast, go viral. I'm going to get Lou Engle on a Facebook Live. It's the new television. That's how I'm going to pay for movements. I don't have a TBN. I don't have a God TV. I don't have a Daystar. I will, but you know what? I'm going to use social media. I'm going to reach 1 million people, social media. I'm going to reach the next generation on Instagram. I'm going to use all the technology. That's how we get 15,000 a night watching. So it doesn't matter if I got 120, 200 in the room. I got nations. I'm mentoring the world with media revival. That's the call over this place. You think it's just Secret Place Church? No, we're an apostolic center. Emerging as a mighty men of David company. Gideon's army of 300. But we're going to launch out 1,000 fiery. Okay, if it takes me 20 years. I'm only 42. My wife said, you turn 42. You can't play the 40. You're 42. I've lived a lifetime. I said, well, we're good over here going after the 40 and under because Rick's going after the 50 and older. Let's see the convergence, They had a word over there about the 50-ers, Yeah, amen. God's not done with the Moses. Come on. God's got the Moses, the Joshua, and the next generation. He's got what was, what is, and what's coming all at the same time. Come on, I want you at 80. I want you at 60. I want you at 50. We need you. And we need your money. Got to pray the millennials get money. My 21, 22-year-old daughter, I'm praying she gets money. My 19-year-old daughter, and he's even more. My 18-year-old son, I'm like, you guys better get jobs because when Dad's old, Dad's coming back. I told God one time I'm going to have 5 kids, and then when I'm old, they're going to give back. Maybe they're going to have like 10 grandkids. They're going to give back too. I'm going to be 85 years old and have a lot of kids and a lot of granddad. I'm going to be calling in a lot of favors when I don't got money and there's no retirement and living by faith. I'm going to be calling my kids and their kids' kids. I'm going to be like, guys, Dad's back in the house. Isn't that kind of a weird deal? You like start and you're a kid and then you're like back and you're a kid. Like at 90, they're taking care of you. I'm like, man, I better have a lot of kids and grandkids because when I'm 90, I'm going to be a lot to handle. So they're getting theirs, hallelujah. I'm just setting them up to prosper, marry the right guy, marry the right girl, come into money because Dad's going to need some. After I preached my last crusade at 85 years old in Africa, I'm already planning my crusade in Africa at 85. Because I'm that far in faith that I've got a field of 1 million in Africa and I'm 85. I'm there already. So I can't die before then. That's supernatural. It's called tasting of the powers of the future age today. I already saw when I would die and how I would die. And imagine that. He's the one who was, who is, and who is to come. Holy Spirit can show you things yet to come. I mean, you could see what you're going to do today, tomorrow. You could see tomorrow today. And then how about you can pull what you were going to do at 60 into today and do it at 40? Why wait? That's called tasting of the powers of the age to come. Do you believe it's possible to move time? What God ordained for you at 70, you do at 50? Because you just can't wait and you just reach into heaven and pull it into today? Isn't that what you do every time you pull down a miracle? Every time you pull down a healing? Every time you pull down a prophetic word? You're taking something that was before the world was made and something that's already happened tomorrow and you're bringing it into today. Now imagine taking decades of what's in the kingdom future and bringing it into today and being a pioneer and not waiting for the next generation to catch up. That's why Bob Jones was a pioneer. That's why breakers are breakers, because they do things that were reserved for the church to do in 20 years, they do today as a breaker. I'm a breaker. I did things before my time. The Lord told me at 40, he said, you did things that I was going to have you do at 60 because you just wouldn't stop contending. Is anybody in the room right now going to contend that you don't have to wait for some sovereign moment of divine time in the future, but that you could take the future and bring it into today? I see the Lord releasing over people future. I remember the song John Mark McMillan said right here, right in the Carolinas. He's my future, he's my present, he's my past, all at the same time. You want to be revelatory, you want to be prophetic? Tomorrow has already happened. You could see. And you know, you can get so far out that you could see all those years. And then some people become the breakers and the trailblazers and the apostolic and the pioneers, and they do today what the church isn't going to do for another 20. They take ground. They break through so that you can break through. I believe the anointing of breakthrough is on you. It's on the house. It's on your children's children. My sons and daughters will be ministries of breakthrough. They will do more in a day than I did in 6 months because the anointing of acceleration. Can I pray that over people? Lord, release the anointing of acceleration, like even time, acceleration. Release the anointing of acceleration, where God does in a day what he would do in 6 months. God would do in a moment what he'd do in 6 years. God, I pray for the anointing of acceleration, like multiplied time. The Bible calls it redeeming the time, redeeming the lost time, redeeming your lost opportunities. Come on, God, I want to redeem time. I want to redeem time. People without faith and vision, lazy and complacent. You got faith and vision, you're moving. Say, God, I'm praying today that I would do today and now things that were reserved for another day, because I just can't wait that long. I want to taste of the powers of the age to come. I want to push and break through with you into a place where I see in my children's children mantles of inheritance that were reserved for another day, but because we made such demand on heaven and hunger, we brought the future into the moment. That's been my whole story for 20 years, bringing the future into the moment, seeing it and going after it and making it happen. And after it's done, I go, what's next? We did Healing Awakening South Africa, what's next? Did Lakeland, Florida, what's next? We're going to do Revival Harvest America, what's next? Pray in the Spirit for a minute, pray in the Holy Ghost. It's the activation time, by the way, it's 10-10. Look at that, double, 10-10 up there. You know what 10-10 is? Psalms 110. You know what Psalms 110 is? Many will volunteer freely in the day of God's power. Psalms 110, you know what it is? The rod, the scepter going forth. 10-10, double 10. It's either 10-10 or my eyes are wrong, but I see 10-10 right up there. My clock, not yours, God's clock. Come on, God, give us Psalms 110. Read it later. Read it in the Passion Translation. The rod, the scepter. Many will volunteer freely in the day, God's power. Double anointing, double breakthrough, double outpouring. 10 is outpouring, double 10. I want double outpouring. What if we didn't wait till New York? What if I came home in March and had a move? I said, Pastor Darren, what if I came home and was here in March, had a baby, but had a move right here? I believe there's places, I call them the tipping point of revival. They're just going to get so hungry, they're going to steal like Jacob took Esau's mantle. They're going to hunger, we're going to get it first. I mean, places are going to pray you in. You're going to be like, no, here. And God's going to go, no, there. They're hungrier. I literally could have stayed in Lake Erie, Pennsylvania. I could have stayed in Baltimore. I could have stayed in, there's been 5 places that I've been. I could have stayed anywhere. I've never felt such a season of like readiness. Every place I go could extend. I'm going to be in Texas this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Pray that it doesn't go another 13 weeks. Because I'm in a season of such outpouring right now. I feel like we could go anywhere we want to and just decide to have God move, because I feel like it's bigger than just one person, one church. I think it's a movement. And if you've ever been a part of a movement before, it's like anywhere and everywhere. Remember the summer of love? That was just one summer. Negative, but one summer. For those that lived through the 60s. One little Woodstock, just still to this day, generations later, are still paying the price. The music that came, the movement that came, one summer of love. One tipping point. Can everybody pray for 2 minutes for the bowls to be tipped over? Come on, the bowls are almost full. Can you just push it? Come on. God, tip over the bowls. Tip over the bowls. Tip over the bowls. It's a tipping point of revival. Tip over the bowls on the East Coast. Tip over the bowls in the Carolina. Tip over the bowls in America. All the bowls full. Let the angels of revival and harvest and awakening tip over the bowls. Restrain him. The disciples on the road to Emmaus said, stay with us. They constrained him. Abide with us. Pull it into your city. Pull it into your church. Pull it into your region. Pull it into your nation. Contend with heaven that it would shift from wherever it was and end up where you are. You know, I was in, Philadelphia preaching, and the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. I was there preaching the night. Super Bowl night. I was preaching in Pennsylvania. Couldn't get any more prophetic than the Eagles win the Super Bowl. And I'm there preaching. You know what we were preaching? Revival Harvest America. The Eagles win the Super Bowl. Eagles win. Prophetic wins. Everywhere I go, there's something. Lord, I'm not going to ever give up believing for my home in my city of my Carolina. We're going to take the Coliseum. If not Panther Stadium, I'll take the small Coliseum. And what if it just got bigger and bigger and bigger? What if this was the year that because the Mantle billigram is falling, what if we had the strike now for Azusa, for the East, for the East? See, when you want to see a move of God, you don't care if it's called the Call, Azusa, Harvest. It's not about whose name. I'm not calling it Fresh Fire Ministries. I always call it Fresh Fire Ministries, Single Place Church. I'm calling it Revival Harvest America because it's going to be bigger than any one person. I want something that people can connect to that's not me, myself, and I, some organization that we're trying to build onto ourselves, some kingdom. I got some apostles coming. I got some prophets coming. I got some names coming. If I told you who they were, you'd be like, I'm coming. And I got people coming just because they heard God to come. I got people from California coming, like 13, 15 from one church, 20 from another. I was like, California's coming all the way to New York? You came to the west, we're coming to the east. Can't get any more east than New York. I believe we could be so hungry here that we could tip the bowls. Somebody said to me one time, the East is ready, the West is ready, but the Southern hospitality, they're just kind of not ready. And I preach everywhere, people, and it's a challenge every time I get in the South. Bob Jones had one of the greatest words about Atlanta, the gate, the Atlanta, the move of God in Atlanta. I'm taking a ballroom and going into Atlanta. Why? Mobilize. We're going to see it in Charlotte. But I'll tell you, the Southern, it's been the hardest place I've ever been. But yet, probably got the most destiny on it. The Carolinas, some of the most destiny for revival on it, and yet some of the most challenged, hardest ground. And yet it's a city where the Mantle Billy Graham lives and falls. And we can capture it tonight. Who's with me? Thank you, Lord. Here, my Lord, send me. Give me America. Give me America. Come on, give me America. Give us 1 million. Give us 10 million. Collectively. I mean, what if it's a collective harvest? I mean, it's not you and you preaching. What if it's a collective harvest? events and arenas and stadiums everywhere, and it's millions. And you never even get to preach in it. But God moves and He transcends you. Listen, I like you, I like me. I like my call, I like my vision, but I feel like something bigger. I'm just going to have to say I'm done and shut up and you guys do what you want, because I could go all day and night, and I have. I've been in my school all day and all night, and I was doing broadcasts this afternoon. Yesterday I was doing Secret Place Experience in Baltimore, and I haven't stopped. And I'm more gripped by heaven right now. My wife's like, your voice is going. You just lay down. I said, I'm moved by something right now. I'm moved. I thought I was moved last week, and then I wake up and Billy Graham passed. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was moved then. Well, I'm moved now. Why? There's so many prophetic words. Did you hear Mark Sharona, Benny Hinn on TBN, specifically when Billy Graham would pass, the greatest revival would hit the earth? It's not just Kim Clement. It's not just Todd Bentley. It's not just Lou Engle. Charlie Shamp right here in January said this would be the year. It's going to go viral on Facebook in a couple days. He's going to pull the prophetic word, say I was at the Secret Place Church, Secret Place Conference, and God told me revival would begin and the greatest evangelist in this city would go home to be with the Lord. I said, you better not be prophesying the passing of Billy Graham, because if he lives past this year, I'm going to have to clean up a lot of prophetic mess. Some of you were right here and he said it on this stage. And he prophesied about Iceland and volcanoes and earthquake. Guess what? It's happening. Everything Charlie Shamp prophesied here is happening. I was like, you are going to be at the stadium event. You're one of the emerging prophets. I might have on my stage 20 apostles and prophets you don't even know by name, because I'm not just looking to I'm looking to what's coming. I'm looking to the Fialela, people you don't even know by name. I'm looking to the Daniel McCormicks. I'm looking to the Jesse Amy Shamps. I'm looking to the Jordan Alex Parkinson. I'm looking to the people you don't even know by name who are going to be the next generation of apostles and prophets. And I'm still going to honor all the fathers and mothers. I'm the Joshua generation, 42. But there's a generation under 40 right now that I'm looking to. And don't think I'm done with what was. Don't think I'm done with what is, but I'm looking to what's coming. And the new wine has to have a new wineskin. You can't even get on Facebook right now without some prophetic word, some vision, some dream, some tribute, some honor. It's worldwide news. You know what they're celebrating right now? The greatest evangelist that's been on the earth since the book of Acts. I kept thinking about how today, headline news, Fox, every media outlet, headline news today, Christian evangelist, not one negative comment made. America's pastor. I was like, could that, God's got the attention of the global media. You think we're celebrating here? Some are grieving. We're celebrating. You think heaven's not got a roar in it right now? I'll be lucky if I get into heaven and even have one crown to throw down. My mother watched Billy Graham crusades. I wasn't saved. I was a sinner, drug addict. She was deaf, couldn't even hear it. She'd have it on the TV. I'd say, Mom, what are you watching? She said, that's Billy Graham. I go, you're deaf, you can't even hear it. She goes, I got subtitles. He's the only voice I'll ever listen to. I hate church and I hate religion. I would hate God if it wasn't for Billy Graham. I was an 18-year-old sinner, drug addict, out of prison. My mom watched Billy Graham crusade. She said, everything else I hate, religion. I led her to Jesus. She didn't even get saved watching Billy Graham. She just respected and listened. And then I led her to Christ, got her right with God before she died. But all the way back to being a kid, Billy Graham on the TV. She said, that's a man of God. I said, Mom, you're a sinner. She goes, that's a man of God. She hated the church, hated religion, hated preachers, didn't want to go to church, didn't want to be a Christian, didn't want to be born again, but Billy Graham. Man, And I don't know that we'll ever see that again. But I want to pray we'd see 1,000 times. Lord, don't pass us by. Don't let another generation go. Don't let us have to wait 40 more years. Do it in our day. You know what we're doing? We're birthing. We're receiving. I feel it's so holy, I'm not even going to lay hands on you. Usually I would pray for everybody. I feel like it's a moment right now that's so much bigger than my one hand could do. I feel like I can't pray for anybody. If that offends you, I'm sorry. Come back next week when I'm preaching. I'm telling you right now, we need to hear, my Lord, this is your moment of divine commissioning. It's beyond come to Revival Harvest, New York. It's beyond. God, I'm wrestling here in the Spirit that you would mantle my sons and daughters. That you would take the ground to the Carolina where the man passed, the seed went into the ground and give birth to revival in the Carolinas. I want to see Panther Stadium. Trust me, I want to see Bojangles Coliseum. I do. Somebody told me Rick Joyner almost had it, like given to him, paid for. It may still be in the works. Because that would cost a lot of money. I was like, I don't even know if the Panthers are here anymore. Are they? Like, forget the Panthers. I don't want to play where they played because they don't even want to be in my city anymore. So, I'll go to the Bojangles because I like chicken. I'll go to the Coliseum. Chicken didn't do me wrong, but those Panthers, they sold them and now they all want to leave and don't even be in Charlotte, you know. Some people don't even want to watch NFL. You know, they're like, what's NFL? The nation got offended, got divided. Some of those stadiums don't even fill up halfway anymore. I mean, I don't mind football. Listen, I'm waiting for the XFL. Boom. Vince McMahon, WWE, they're bringing back the XFL. Boom, I'll be rooting for them. Football. Fill those stadiums, XFL, right? It's coming, 2020, it's coming, XFL, right? Forget NFL, we got XFL. They're all going to bow. They're all going to stand for the anthem, the whole league, or you're fired. Boy, people, I mean, I was like, really? You just said that? He goes, yep, XFL. And if you're a player, you stand. I was like, whew. He said, you don't tell us our rules, we tell you. If you don't like it, get out. I was like, wow, we need more people like that. We got a president like that. That's why we don't. People get all mad. He's like, sorry, I'm draining the swamp. You don't like it? Too bad. I'm putting prayer back in the school. I'm bringing back money. I'm killing abortion. I'm going to make the nation great. I mean, I'm like, wow, thank you, Jesus. Finally, somebody that can help America take back the ground we've lost. And that's why everyone's tweaking and manifesting. Not the Christians. Because God's going to make this nation his again. God's not doing it with a man. I'm Canadian. I didn't even get the vote. I'll get the vote next time. I'm going to be on God's side. I think God's setting us up for a window to have harvest, and this would be the best time. Because we don't know in 10 years that we're going to have this window. We better pray now with shootings in all the schools. We ought to pray now. Hollywood's manifesting, and people are manifesting everywhere. But you know what's happening? It's small, but the whole boat's turning. You see, it's a rudder. That ship is just so, it takes a little while to shift it, but it's happening. The guy did more in 12 months than any president, like, I think in 12 months? I mean, how do you just get that much done in 12 months? Why did it have to take 8 years? You're just pushing stuff through. I was like, yay, God. And I don't even know that I like the man. I'm not a personality guy, man. God could have done it with anybody, but I want to see who the Lord's hand's on, who the church prayed through. Because I think the government of God is coming. Come on, can we give the Lord a mighty shout? Come on, give Jesus a shout. Fire, 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 fire. You're watching? Fire, 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 fire. Man, I might go home and not even sleep. Like be on my face, just in my bed at 2 a.m. Come on, God. Here am I, send me. Grip me. Some of you need to pray. Heaven, grip me. You're not gripped enough. I'm not even just talking about tonight's meeting. Some of us just aren't gripped enough with vision. Because when the hand of God gets on you and grips you, man, you can't shake it. My wife gets out of the way, my team gets out of the way. They go, man, you get scary when you get in this mode. Get in my apostolic vision, like get out of my way. I'm birthing a movement kind of vision. I get focused, man. I'm like, we're doing Pakistan. Right down to the last day, no visas. Right down to the last day, they need 30,000. No, right down to the last day, we're in. Death threats, bomb threats. We're going. Because I hear God, man, I'll go all the way through. You know what? I'm glad I did, because I could have failed and turned back 10 times from my last mission, and we went in and saw hundreds of thousands saved. If we didn't push through, every day the most warfare you could imagine. Every day. Suicide bombers, the government taking my stadium, no passport. I mean, the money wasn't coming. I mean, it was warfare. You don't even know the story. Some of you do, but I'll tell you what, I heard God. Lord, give me a spine. Who's praying for a spine? The righteous are as bold like lions, roaring. Can I hear the East Coast roar tonight? Come on, I want an East Coast roar. Father, I pray the lion would roar over the Carolinas. The lion would roar over the East Coast. The lion would roar over America. You know why? You know why? So that we can speak the word of God with all boldness. Stretch forth your hand to heal, that signs and wonders. I don't know if you want to play on the piano or who's doing what, but I'll tell you what. You guys can, nobody's leaving. I don't know what's wrong with you. There's no food. I have food to eat that you don't know about. You'd think we got cookies or something, but it's like you get in the anointing and, preachers should, don't preach this long. But I'm prophesying. And people are just caught up in it. And I just tell you what, who's birthing something? Man, I gotta do this. I gotta do this for March, April, May, June, July, right up into the stadium launch. And then from there, I gotta take it to the next city. So you think I'm striking the ground now for a message? You haven't even heard me for at least 10. When I preached 100 times, I'm going to mobilize the biggest net. I'm calling moms, pops, churches, ministries, people, money, young, old. Join the movement. Do something. Plug in. Planes, trains, automobiles, 2 campgrounds. Book now because they're going to pack out. You get 8,000 people in a city of 75,000, there's not going to be a lot of hotels. We're telling our friends and partners, book early. The hotels and campgrounds are on the website, revivalharvestamerica.org. Book them all out now. Because they're going to pack out, but maybe an hour away. They don't have enough accommodations and no housing. So, we just got 2 churches of 300 in the city. Other than that, we're not going to have houses. There are campgrounds, tents, campers. Do it Jesus style. Western New York, upstate New York is beautiful in August. Plan a vacation. Book your ticket. Yeah, you and the nations. Book your ticket. Come get the fire. Take it back to your nation. Why believe God for somebody from every state in America? Why can't I believe God from people of the nations of the world? to come and get anointed for this word, for your city, for your nation. Pray for 8,000 people on the Sunday night. Impartation. Launch a movement. You want to worship for a minute? You got anything? You got anything in your heart, Darren? You got anything you just want to sing? Or does anybody want to just take a minute and just, if you need to go, go. Thank you for joining us live. Connect. Go to revivalharvestamerica.org. Plug in. Sow. Be one of 1,000 to give $5, 10. Be a part. Connect. But if you want to worship in this atmosphere, maybe have an encounter. Come and lay on the floor. Lay on the floor where you are. Lay out in your chairs. Have a secret place experience. I believe we got this open heaven. Use it. We're going to worship for a moment. Thank you, Lord. Give us America. You're an intercessor. Pray, linger. Push through. Come back for releasing the seers. I'll be here. Bring some friends. Violetta's going to come and prophesy. We're going to release the seer prophets. You think tonight was good? Sign up on my website, guys. You're watching. You want the mentoring and the supernatural. ToddBentleyMentoring.com. All the stuff's on our website. All the details. But I'm just going to leave it to the Holy Ghost. Do what He wants.
Lord of the harvest,